Hey folks, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Nation, back with another weekly coach video. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about managing that out-season, in-season transition. It's the middle of March, which means that all of our October people have transitioned out. All of the November people are currently getting ready to transition. December, January folks, you're still plugging away in that pain cave, but certainly you're dreaming of the time you get to transition. And I can talk to you a little bit about that today, maybe hopefully keep you on point, focused, and giving you something to look at, perhaps a little tiny light at the end of the tunnel in your pain cave there. So the transition period inside Endurance Nation, whether you're on the team or you're a training pan athlete, or you're just a fan doing your own hack out there, is still the same. It is perhaps the most important part of your season. Now, I know, of course, you're probably going to say, well, Patrick, back in October, you told me that the out season was the most important. And it is. You know, during the out season, you get insanely strong and you do some work. Hopefully you've seen some of the results based on that, but if not, you can definitely tune in the Facebook page, facebook.com/Endurance Nation, and you'll see how a lot of people's reports and testimonials are coming through. Now, what you don't know, really, and what is really important is what you do with that fitness that you've built. And I think a lot about our winter fitness as being the foundation for a great season. But there's a difference. There's a fine line between building fitness that's going to last you through the season and building fitness that is a flash in the pan and is gone long before you actually need to put the rubber to the road. You know, one of the biggest sort of cautionary tales that people give about how we train inside Endurance Nation is that nobody wants to be, you know, a winter superstar or whatever they call it, where you're, you know, crushing it in January, February, only to suffer and fade come July, August. September, when you need to be at your peak fitness. You know, we've built the season so that that's not an issue, but because you're a self-coached triathlete, even if you're on the team, it's still up to you to make the right decision. And here's how we structure the season. In the out season, we crush you with that hard threshold type work. We build up your fitness across the metrics of our tests, right? The 5K test and the bike test. Then in season, we begin to add volume and we take the intensity down a bit as we add volume. We build our fast out season, add our far in season, then we dial that in with a race specific work and some critical volume stuff just before you hit your event and you go, right? This means that you hit the road now in March with speeds stronger than what you ended last year with, even though you haven't been doing any volume. So your body has really had a chance to reset from a volume perspective, and now we can we stress some different muscle groups, and now we can move back to where you want to be. But there's an important bridge in there. Those naysayers are right. If you continue to follow the same training protocols of Endurance Nation now, the out season that you do for 20 weeks, if you just did that all the time without stopping, right into your race, and just kept adding volume but continuing that intensity, yes, you would implode. You would blow up. You would fail. You would melt down. You know, it would be awful. And the difference between a great out season and a great in season and someone who has a great out season and has a subpar season is really the 2 weeks of transition between the two. If you have a mid to late season race, then you have the time after the out season to put in a full 2 week transition. You have an early season high priority race, say in May or June, you may need to take a very short transition, maybe just a week. Leap right over to your race prep, do the last couple of weeks for your race prep, do your race, and then take another block of transition at the end there, just to get that rest in the middle of your season. What do you do during the transition period? What makes a transition period so special? Well, the number one thing you do is you don't work out with any intensity level goals whatsoever. In fact, if you wake up in the morning and don't feel like getting out of bed, you just don't get out of bed. If I had my way, I'd put you under house arrest for at least a week, where you really wouldn't be doing any exercise, maybe some light walking, maybe some yoga, something like that, but nothing really big. And the second week, you can kind of maybe work in some light spinning, maybe some swimming. If you haven't been swimming in the out season, the transition period is a great time to add some swimming in, and just kind of get loose again. Start thinking about your in-season stuff, and you use this block of time to start to get all your house in order. I need to go buy new equipment. I need to actually buy some food because I actually will be out on the road. I won't be able to go to my fridge. I need to think about new bottles. When's the last time I cleaned my bike? Do these components need to be changed? Do you remember where I put my jacket, my arm warmers, my booties? All those things need to take place, and you can use this 2 week period to really pull together everything as you're resting, so that when you're ready to get to your general prep or race prep training, you're chomping at the bit and you're really hungry to do it. It's a very hard thing to do for a lot of people, especially if you've really bought into the Endurance Nation method of training and you've seen some great results and you've pushed your limits to where you've never seen them go before. And now I'm sitting here telling you, you need to sit back and lose some of that fitness. You know, you push your FTP up by 20%. Now I'm telling you, I want to let that go a little bit. Excuse me. If you want to maintain that fitness throughout your season. In other words, we really spend the out season sharpening that pencil of your fitness, that really, really fine point. You took that really, really fine point and just started poking it right into the wall of what it means to do long training. Look, there's a wall right here. It's going to break. Right? There you go. And you're done. You have no sense of what the workload is you've done to yourself because you simply haven't been able to put it in the perspective of what it means to do long work. Right? Last year you were doing all these 3-hour rides and long runs. And now you're just doing 45-minute, hour-long, 20-minute workouts, and you feel like, I'm not really doing a lot of time. I have a lot of time on my hands. I'm going to do some more volume. I don't really need to rest. And I'm here to tell you that skipping the transition period is a shortcut to season planning disaster and will certainly lead you to underperform on race day when it matters most. It's great to crush the out season and have some high numbers, but it's not as great as taking those numbers and using them to have a great performance on race day. So as you look at the rest of your season, understand that this transition period is what is going to make or break your actual year. Whether your out season was great or not as great as you wanted, you still need to rest and still need to refocus yourself and then redirect towards the rest of your season. Now's the time to pull out the protractors, charts, the darts, see if your season planning exercise that you took, that you started a couple months ago, actually still is relevant to your season and still has meaning for you as you start to look at what the rest of the season looks like with your schedule now, what your fitness is, what the gaps in your fitness are, and where you want to go. If you're on the team, please go ahead. You can feel free to resubmit your survey. Coach Rich will give you feedback on how things are working and give you a new sense of how to structure your season. If you have questions, obviously hit the macro micro threads. If you're a training plan athlete or a fan, please find us over at facebook.com/Endurance Nation or over at twitter.com/TeamEN. We'll be happy to answer your questions on either platform, give you some advice, get you dialed in. Otherwise, looking forward to seeing you guys out there on the roads in the spring. Know that we have our first event, the Ironman Texas Rally, coming up in the Woodlands at the end of this month. March 31st is when it kicks off, which is the first big kickoff for the entire 2011 season. Very excited. We have over 85 people signed up for that. So if you're going to be there, I look forward to meeting you. Everyone else, be safe out there. Have a great time. If you have any other additional advice or inputs, please add them to the comments below this video. Otherwise, I'll be back soon. I'll see you guys later. Take care out there, folks, and be safe.